I want to take a couple of minutes and walk you through exactly what I'm looking for in your research paper. And it's going to be a little bit different than what we have done thus far in the class, and probably a little bit different of anything you did in 101. So I do want to make sure that you understand exactly what I'm asking of you. And please, as always, if you are unsure, shoot me an email or give me a call, and I'm happy to talk with you more in detail. So you can just read my little blurb at the top that daily we're confronted with issues of gender and gender roles, mental health, and violence. And so I want the focus of this project to address a current problem within one of these broader topics. These are also topics that we have confronted in the literature that we have read. In one way or another, each of the texts have touched on some or all of these issues. But I want you to think about how what we've done and what we've read throughout the term is relevant today. So what is an issue or a problem, I guess that's the better way to put it, within one of these broader topics. So once you've picked a narrowed focus, you're going to be more easily able to determine a thesis statement. And I'm going to walk you through an activity for generating ideas and then developing a thesis. So right now, let's just talk about the project parameters itself. You must have 5 to 7 sources, and these are outside sources. Now, these can be from a variety of places. One, however, must be a scholarly article from a scholarly journal, and I will show you how to find that. And I definitely will help you determine how that's going to work. You can conduct one or more personal interviews. However, no matter how many interviews you conduct, it will only count as one of your required sources. Now, the thing about the interview is that you can't just interview your neighbor because they're there. You've got to interview someone, if you choose to do this, that is an expert in the field of what you're talking about. You can use a film, a documentary, a TV show. You can use the text that we've read. You can use articles, books, pretty much anything. The only requirement is one has to be scholarly, and we'll talk about that when we talk about sources. Now, if you look here at the organizational requirements, I am specifically telling you what I want in each body paragraph. So do not overcomplicate this process. I'm trying to make it as straightforward as I possibly can, and so just follow my pattern here. So your introduction is going to be a statement of your problem and then your specific thesis. The first body paragraph is going to be the history and the background of the problem. Body paragraph 2 and body paragraph 3, you're going to answer these questions. So in body paragraph 2, you're going to let us know who is affected by the problem. And then you're going to, in body paragraph 3, you're going to let me know how bad the problem is. Body paragraph 4 and 5, exactly how are people affected? Now, you may have more body paragraphs here because people could be affected in more than one way, or multiple groups might be affected. So you might want to break it down. This may be 4, 5, and 6. It just depends. And then body paragraph 6, 7, or whatever, what are your solutions to the problem? In other words, what should be done? So who is affected? How bad is it? How specifically are people affected? Which groups and how? And then what should be done? And then your concluding paragraph is going to summarize the findings. So these sections could be longer depending upon how many different groups you're dealing with here, how many different ways people are affected, and then here how many solutions you have. All right, this is going to be 5 to 6 pages long that follows MLA formatting guidelines. Your MLA Works Cited page at the end of the paper does not count towards your page requirement. Okay, so I want 5 to 6 pages of content. Every time you quote directly or paraphrase from a source, you must use in-text citations. Formatting the Works Cited page and in-text citations are steps we will get to in the process itself. You will submit your final copy through Blackboard. Since we are not meeting in person, what I refer to here as in drafts and materials and things like that, those will also be submitted as specific due dates. So you won't have to worry about this hard copy folder, okay? So I have modified that for our online environment. Always remember that your reader hasn't done any of your research or read any of your sources, so you've got to explain clearly to them why you're using that source. And again, we'll talk about this in more detail as we move through the process. You must clearly introduce your sources and help your reader understand why you find them reliable. You may incorporate I, do not use you, and do not plagiarize. So this is the overview of what I'm asking you to do. And then the next step in the process will be narrowing your focus and developing a problem or a position. And that will be covered in the next video.